Hi, this is Glenn Spencer with American Border Patrol reporting to you from the Arizona-Mexico border. If you don't know us, American Border Patrol is a nonprofit, non-governmental organization. We're a watchdog group. We operate right here on the Mexican border. I'm looking out the window at a facility used to smuggle drugs. It's inside Mexico. What you're going to be seeing in these podcasts, you won't see anywhere else. ABP operates 3 aircraft. We do aerial surveillance of the border from Brownsville, Texas to San Diego. We are a watchdog group. We have been using and demonstrating high technology for years.
American Border Patrol has built the Border Hawk, an aircraft that sees through the darkness with an infrared camera to search and record foot traffic. On the ground, the crew monitors the plane's flight from a control center, patrolling hotspots where foot traffic triggers strategically placed sensors.
These images were captured by a mobile unit on loan to a group known as the American Border Patrol.
I had 7 Border Patrol agents on horseback, 10 on the ground walking, and a helicopter out there.
Chasing illegal immigrants crossing a ranch on the Arizona border.
It's a bumpy ride to get to the land of the American Border Patrol at the Mexico-Arizona border in Hereford, Arizona. It's a new piece of equipment the group is getting ready to unveil called the sonic barrier. With every step I take along this area of the border, I'm being monitored by the sonic barrier. So when I go like this, the system picks up my movement even more.
It's 100% effective. It absolutely would work.
The group has set up a half-mile of this new technology. The sonic barrier picks up people's footsteps along the border and then sends an alert into the system. It's their answer to the so-called virtual fence that the feds just pulled the plug on.
Recently, Fox News' Greta Van Susteren interviewed Arizona State Senator Steve Smith. He told her about a plan that the state of Arizona has to raise money to build a fence along the border. He told her about their border fence website, buildthefence.com. What is going on here? Arizona is taking donations to protect itself against an invasion. Arizona has 400 miles of border with Mexico. The Department of Homeland Security claims that it has built 320 miles of fence along the Arizona-Mexico border. Then why on earth is Arizona asking for donations to build a fence? I think it's best that we take a look at what's really going on at the border. And the best way to do that, and the only way to do that, is to go to the AmericanBorderPatrol.com website. This is the AmericanBorderPatrol.com homepage. There's a lot of information on it. You can spend some time there. But what we're going to focus on right now is off to the left of the website. There's a map called Tucson. That's the Tucson sector. Just click on that map, and what you'll see is a map of the Southwest showing the entire border with Mexico. Well, you see what it says Tucson and Yuma and San Diego. These are Border Patrol sector maps. They are management subdivisions of the Border Patrol. Now, if you go to one of the sectors, such as Tucson Sector West, Tucson is broken into 2 pieces because it's so big. You click on a little yellow button and you will see an enlarged map of that sector. At the bottom of the map, you will see a color code showing along the border what is there. In some cases, you will see that you have a fence and what type of fence. In other cases, you will see there is a vehicle barrier. Now, also, in addition to this color-coded map, you will see little numbers along the border. Those are actual aerial photographs taken as part of American Border Patrol's Operation Beef as we flew along the border to survey it. I happen to be the principal pilot and did the flying for this effort. So let's click on one of these numbers to see what is there. This is what the Department of Homeland Security is calling a fence. As you can see, you can walk right through it. Let's go back and look at some other places along the border that the Border Patrol and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security is calling a fence. Also here, this is another type of fence. It's really a vehicle barrier, and you can step right over it. And smugglers have built vehicle ramps to drive over it. There is some real pedestrian fencing along the border in Arizona. Let's take a look at Lukeville. Here at Lukeville, there is 5 miles of this type of fencing. It is effective, but if it's 5 miles, it doesn't take a genius to realize you can walk around it. And on both sides of Lukeville are these very ineffective vehicle barriers stretching for miles. Let's go to the Tucson sector east. And here at Naco, you'll see some pedestrian fencing, but this is very ineffective. Some of it is only 10 feet high. Going over to Douglas, Arizona, again, very short fencing. Some brand new fencing. If we go over and look at Nogales, they've just installed some new fencing at Nogales. These are recent photographs that the American Border Patrol took. Interesting. Recent stories show that 3 people have been injured trying to get over that fence, 2 of them from China. So if you go back and look, let's go back and start over again at the American Border Patrol website. Remember, that's AmericanBorderPatrol.com. Come over to the left, click on this map, then you'll see the entire U.S.-Mexico border. Spend some time looking at it, finding out what the Department of Homeland Security calls a fence, and you'll come to the realization that Arizona has a real problem with not only the honesty of the federal government, but with an invasion from south of the border. Almost 1 million people pass through Arizona each year into the United States. They get past the Border Patrol. Many of them stay in Arizona, costing the state almost $3 billion. It's one of the reasons they're broke. They don't have the money to build their own fence. Arizona passed a law to help the Immigration Service enforce the laws, and the Obama administration sued them to stop them from enforcing the immigration laws. Do you blame Arizona for trying to build its own fence under these circumstances? The question is, do fences work? Some say, show me a 50-foot wall and I'll show you a 51-foot ladder. Is that true? Let's take a look at what happened at Yuma, Arizona. Before 2006, conditions at Yuma were out of control. What you're about to see is a clip of a Border Patrol documentary.
Alright, they're making their move. Multiple bodies jumping off the fence towards the 6. Yeah, 10-4, yeah, it's a horde of them. Yeah, we're gonna have probably 40 plus bodies or so. They're still coming over. Brown GMC, 2-tone.
Subject on foot, that's a vehicle.
So I'm trying to get a hold of transport. Stand by, clear traffic.
The one back south. The one that just went that way. Just went south.
They're all coming now.
Yeah, somebody stay over by the 6 and 8. I'm rolling.
They're coming from up north. Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, did anybody get an estimate count of how many were actually bondside you guys? 120.
Beginning in 2006, the National Guard started building a fence from the Colorado River eastward. Later, private contractors picked up the job and constructed fencing all along the 45-mile Goldwater bombing range along the Mexican border. At the San Luis port of entry, private contractors built triple layer fencing. Look at that. And from Yuma to Calexico, across the dunes, they built effective, robust, 18 feet high steel beam fencing that worked. What you're about to see, you wouldn't see anywhere else, because American Border Patrol was the only organization that went out and documented when the fence went in, as it went in, and where it went in. So I'm about to show you a chart that you will not see anywhere else. We took our information on when the fence went in, miles of fence at Yuma, and we took government information on apprehensions of illegal aliens at Yuma. As you can see, there's a strong negative correlation. As the fence went in, apprehensions went down. There is no question that this fence did the job. And we have seen the same thing at San Diego and at El Paso. So does Arizona need a fence? I think they do. If you're interested in helping them, go to buildthefence.com. Take a look at what they're trying to do, and if you feel like it, help them out. American Border Patrol is America's eyes on the border. This concludes our first podcast where we talked about the problem that Arizona is having on the border. In the future, we're going to be talking about other subjects such as technology on the border and solutions which are at hand. American Border Patrol is a nonprofit organization. We're supported by small donations from thousands of Americans. If you'd like to join them, go to AmericanBorderPatrol.com or call us at 1-800-600-8642. Once again, this is Glenn Spencer of American Border Patrol signing off until next week's podcast on border technology.